engineered light, I'm continuing from the previous video. Engineered light is hitting this plastic cover and it's creating my shadow on the floor in front of me. So let me show you that. This is impossible light that's appearing in front of me. This is engineered light, not sunlight.
Shadow, which still is here.
That's my shadow appearing in front of me. That's impossible light. What's the pattern that you've seen here? It is engaged in engineered light that touches all over this apartment building as though sunlight, and you see the light source here. It's not over the roof of 450 North Euclid Avenue at the same time. It's not creating while it's over this roof. Looking at engineered light and you're looking at my shadow appear in front of me. That's the product of engineered light, not sunlight. That's the pattern of conduct that's underway, and you've seen that pattern here. And the two locations are mutually exclusive. The entity is keeping a light source here after 5 p.m., the same location where I'm capturing the sunrise. In addition, the engineered light, which you've also seen on my ceiling, which is never going to be the case either. The entity engages in what is hitting the windows on this building, and it ricochets, and you see the engineered light, the illuminated light that's on this apartment building. You've already seen that. You see it appear on the tree. You see it in the depths of the covered up hallways. Okay, you see it on the streets where the demons are driving in it. Okay, they're group stalking as an entire community. And as I see third party after third party group stalking coming onto the property, third party after third party, all 59 units, that's evidence that's going to be used against them because I know all their names and their addresses. Nobody's getting away with anything. Nobody. This is how you use the entity's criminal activity against itself. You use it against them. The entity is thinking that, oh, I'm going to get away with something because I'm going to blast my music and drive by while the target individual is naked. And she doesn't know because I don't live at the crime scene. That's the mindset of the demon possessed. You're going to use their criminal conduct against each other. They're all one entity. What the entity is doing, driving in that engineer light, engaging in a sex offense, they're doing it on behalf of Lucy Santos, whose work, by the way, her work schedule is no legal argument. That's the significance of group stalking. This is why you maintain the environment all around, and it's under the guise of what's the natural environment. The impunity demonstrated by the who live at Silverview, crossing path on Alvarado, group stalking together, and this light source is over their property at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's never going to be over the Upland Public Library at the same time of year ever. That's speaking to what is the entire, all 35 units that are going to be prosecuted as terrorists and sex offenders that they are acting with impunity, because you're not going anywhere. You're engaged in the elements of light activity, relevant positioning, and audible activity while monitoring to the sound of my voice, and they also do that as I speak to the fact that they're going to be prosecuted as one. Because this is the entity that's engaging what is possible, an impossible environment. That impossible environment, which is what you're seeing covering all of the people of the state that are at the hillside. All right. This is engineered light. There's no sun that's over any property that would be present. It's rising over this hillside in the morning. It is 5:12 p.m. There's no sun that's over the Upland Public Library, number one, or going to be at the same address in any position to maintain sunlight over the same property where the sun is rising. There's no provision for the sun to move to Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, or to be ever over that property. Over that city. That's just one example. In addition, what is the entity doing in that specific environment? Stalking in airplanes. And that's what is over me. The entity is amplifying plane activity while I'm walking to my apartment. Those are the elements of monitoring is what you're paying attention to. It's the specific environment. The specific environment includes what is engineered light, presence. This is presence on a massive scale. All of the entity is maintaining presence all around. This is engineered light on Silverview townhomes. There is no sunlight that's going to be over Silverview townhomes or over the property of the hillside or coming through my blinds that are closed or appearing on my ceiling or maintaining presence, engineered light underneath my bed, spreading across the carpet, appearing on this bedroom wall, okay, where the entity is engaging what is maintaining a light source that's never going to be present over the Upland Public Library at the same time, nor at any time of year. That's not the sun. That's not the behavior of sunlight. It's a specific environment, and demons are group stalking with malice in that specific environment, and that malice is going to be used against them, okay? And this is going against, again, the politician who you see group stalking with minor children. That's a sex offender. They're the same entity. Okay, monitoring while my panties are down in the Upland Public Library. That's what that politician is actually into. Okay, that's what he's into. And that's what they don't want you to know. They're violent sex offenders. And they engage in more sexual violence, more harassment, more terrorism, while they engage in group stalking, and they're in concert with a corrupt law enforcement agency that you saw, again, flying in a circle in helicopter, but you saw them do that for 47 minutes. This is the same hillside, and this is captured at what is, again, 6:48 in the morning. But I'm showing you the Upland Police Department that's group stalking and what's supposedly sunlight after 6 p.m. in the evening yesterday in 2022. All right, that's the prosecution of a police department that's engaging in terrorism. In doing so, this is supposedly sunlight that would never be present where I'm showing you the sunrise, and that's exactly what I captured on April 15th, 2024. This is the same living room window where you saw the sunrise. This is 6:48 p.m. We can use same time of a year analysis. We can individualize it to this very crime scene. And I'm also showing you how you're going to analyze that sex offender that's a politician with the affiliated with the Upland City Hall. Okay, and that malice with which he's engaging in what is sexual violence and terrorism via minor children. That's going on his criminal record. And he's not escaping justice. There is no statute of limitations for engaging in state terrorism. It's a malicious criminal system. So this is what the entity did for 48 minutes. Don't forget that. Flying in relevant position to my living room for 48 minutes. That's what they engaged in. That's the same corrupt law enforcement agency you saw appearing on video while the light source is not over building 1818. It's in alignment with where I stood in that parking lot. And while the entity was stalking in the path, flying in a circle over there, outward demonstration of demon possession in the engineer light. Outward demon possession, outward demonstration of demon possession. That's, again, Iris Carnero, who's going to federal prison, a violent sex offender, molesting me with engineer light, an impossible occurrence. That's what this politician that I'm documenting group stalking on this day in 2022 is engaged in. That's the system that he's facilitating and has the audacity and the hypocrisy to do so on the ground where there's a monument for the honoring of those that have given their lives to protect my constitutional right from a corrupt government, a corrupt law enforcement agency, people that are acting in concert with the corrupt government to keep you under surveillance in violation of your constitutional rights. And then as you enforce your rights, the entity engages in more criminal conduct, which is what Amazon Prime just engaged in. All right, crossing path, parking right here. The same thing that you've seen FedEx and the same thing you saw UPS engage in. That's exactly what Amazon Prime just did right now. It's pathetic, and I'm going to drain the Amazon Prime. They can think that they're as big as they want. Mr. Bezos has a big deal on his hands because not only am I going to prosecute his company for engaging in state terrorism, which, by the way, he's not ignorant about. He's not ignorant of that. Okay, you don't have an ongoing pattern of conduct by a government, by a state, amongst police departments in different regions, and amongst what is impossible light activity, which is impossible to happen one time. I'm showing you what is hundreds and hundreds of times. That's not something that's ignorantly engaged in. These big tech companies, these companies that are selling you all these products, even delivering your mail, and you're giving them access to your homes, by the way, and they're monitoring you, they're invading your privacy, they're keeping you under surveillance, and they have a lot of money and a lot of power, and they're engaged in this system surveillance. They have an interest in this criminal system as well, and they're not ignorantly hiring the demon possessed that are monitoring you. They're not ignorantly engaging in what is facilitation of the state system. They're doing it with real-time knowledge. There is an ongoing demonic agenda, and it is identified. First of all, you need to know these products, these companies, these board of directors, these city halls, these courthouses, these police and sheriff's departments. All right, they're engaged in state surveillance in the state of California. And this is also what you see underway on the freeway today, on the 91 freeway. Corona Police Department, they're group stalkers. And so are the Anaheim Police Department. And what you saw the LAPD engaging in, that's exactly what those police departments engage in. They're group stalkers. And what you saw is the exact same template for what is criminal summoning. That system is simultaneously underway. Okay, and they have access to things that need to be removed from their resources. The ability to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring using helicopters. The ability to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring using armored vehicles. Okay, and doing so in concert with the people of the state, which is one of the most terrorizing outside of using large guns and armored weapons and helicopters to engage in what is state terrorism. The people of the state are the threat to your life. Okay, it is currently 5:25 p.m. All right, and this is a reminder of what this corruption looks like. There's no sunset that's going to be at the same address where there's a sunrise. And you saw this while the entity flew around in circles in front of my apartment for 47 minutes. Look at this right here, 47. You see where I'm tapping? 47 minutes is what I captured. 47 minutes, flying in a circle over and over and over again. Do you know why? To engage in what is terrorism, thinking that you're going to get away with it. You're going to engage in this sort of, it's on its face, peculiar and terrorizing. Why would a police department engage in it? There's no emergency. By the way, in the specific environment, there's no legitimate emergency. The people of the state are engaged in criminal summoning with that entity. And what controls? Not the false articulation or manufacturing of facts and circumstances to substantiate the use of the vehicles and the helicopters and the ambulances and the fire trucks and the police vehicles. That's not what controls. The specific environment controls. Okay? And where you're looking at the engineer light, where you're looking at the light source, where you're looking at a body of evidence of what a targeted individual is suggesting, what is following them in helicopters, group stalking, harassment by the people of the state as they're termed, that's what's going to control, not the ability of a government that's corrupt, seeking to maliciously target and psychologically torment someone, producing, by the way, the ability, very much rich in resources, to create the circumstances that substantiate their criminal use of the ability, the positions that they have to engage in what is state terrorism. And that's the same Marina Davila, like I said, acting with impunity. She's going to federal prison while that entity is engaged in that demonic exhibit of what is terrorism on its face, flying in circles, which is pacing for 47 minutes. All right. Again, it is currently 5:27 p.m. You saw that engineer light spreading across my bed. There's no sunlight that's ever going to be present. And you saw the entity has been engaging in this for months. This is state surveillance. At no time of year ever is that happening, ever. And all I'm doing is giving you vivid illustration after vivid illustration. Where you see that engineered light, even under all of these circumstances, it's through closed blinds. This is the same apartment where you're looking at the sunrise. This is where the entity is stalking in a helicopter. I'm showing you what is a sunset at Upland Public Library, where, by the way, the light source is over me in the morning. It's not occurring at the same time. It's not even occurring at this one address. It's the specific environment. And this is the template for what you need to understand all of the police departments in the state of California are engaging in. And it is state surveillance. And when you're looking at them engaging in what are these road chases, those are the people of the state that they're pursuing. And you're looking at the light activity. That's not the sun that's over them. And while the entity is doing so under a clouded sky, and you're looking at the light source that's over me, it's not over the Upland Public Library. And this is through closed blinds. And you're also, remember, this light activity appears directly above my head. That's not sunlight either. This is demonic, and this is also impunity. And this is why Dominic Choi is fired, because you know his condition and the condition of those demons that are stalking helicopters. And this is the grounds for what is disbanding, permanent removal from law enforcement. It's presence of the specific environment, and it is the documentation of what is a sex offense. It's not just this. This is one method. This is engineered light itself. This is impossible light activity. It's engineered light. All you have to do is pay attention to the environment. All right. Again, it's currently 5:28 p.m. This is P.O.C.